Do you remember those iconic games? Not so long ago, everyone was playing them, but after a while, they were replaced by new games. What happened? Broken promises, scams and cheating? We'll explain how these games were replaced by new ones. Overwatch 2 and Marvel Rivals. A few years ago, Overwatch was a pillar of hero shooter games. The release of this game was very successful, with over 50 million copies sold. And when Blizzard announced the release of their new game Overwatch 2, fans were excited. The developers announced their introduction of PvE in the game, which is another term for a story mode. But what the players didn't know was that shortly before the game's release, Blizzard said that the main reason to play Overwatch 2, namely the PvE, had been delayed, and we knew very well that they would never release it. The players felt betrayed, and Overwatch 2 felt more like Overwatch 1.5. There were almost no real improvement compared to the first game, and you could even say that the game was worse than the original. And of course, they didn't forget to empty your wallet with their Battle Pass. This game, which was supposed to be free to play, didn't keep that promise, as you had to pay to unlock certain heroes or spend 40 hours of your life grinding for one of them. Meanwhile, in the shadows, Marvel was preparing their offensive. They created a game called Marvel Rivals, which many consider to be a copy-paste of Overwatch. However, Steam reviews say quite the opposite, and several elements of this game allowed it to stand out. For example, the beautiful art style made the gameplay of this game very enjoyable. Also, they learned from Overwatch's mistake by making all the characters free from the start, which is the true definition of free to play, isn't it, Overwatch? And here's the thing, Marvel didn't have to sell players on their characters. Everyone already knows who Spider-Man is. You don't need a 3-hour lore video to explain why Hulk is mad. But Overwatch? It has a great lore. But who's going to explain to a new player why a hamster in a mech is rolling around destroying everyone? Marvel made it easy for casual players to jump in. You don't need to be a gaming expert to pick Captain America and start throwing that shield like a pro. Maybe it's too late to save Overwatch from its mistakes, but only time will tell. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Street Fighter showed the way for competitive fighting games. But Mortal Kombat quickly made its way by introducing revolutionary changes to the genre. One of the most notable innovations was the addition of graphic violence, specifically the iconic fatalities. These brutal finishing moves became a mark of the series, drawing massive attention and debates over video game violence. This notoriety helped Mortal Kombat become a cultural icon, especially in the United States, where the game's shocking violence was both loved and condemned.
How do you feel about cutting his head off?
What Street Fighter had in terms of solid gameplay mechanics, Mortal Kombat took further by adding a deep, engaging storyline that made its character feel more real. The backstories and cinematic narratives allowed Mortal Kombat to stand out, attracting a wider audience who wanted more than just competitive fighting. They wanted to know, who are the characters they are playing with? Mortal Kombat's influence expanded far beyond the world of video games. The series contributed to the creation of the ESRB rating system, thanks to its controversial violence. Mortal Kombat wasn't just a game, it was a cultural statement, inspiring movies, TV shows, and a merc empire. While Street Fighter was the original icon in fighting game genre, it didn't have the cultural impact that Mortal Kombat built. On the commercial front, Mortal Kombat has seen immense success, with titles like Mortal Kombat 10 and Mortal Kombat 11 selling over 20 million copies combined, outpacing Street Fighter V, which sold around 5 million copies during the same period. Street Fighter V had a difficult start. It launched with significant missing content, no arcade mode, limited characters, poor tutorials, and server instability. Capcom's major problem is that they depended heavily on their legacy, without innovating gameplay or presentation enough to stay ahead of modern fighting games. With its compelling characters, innovative mechanics, and lasting cultural impact, Mortal Kombat has solidified its place as the dominant fighting game franchise, while Street Fighter, still beloved, is now overshadowed by its fierce competitor, Counter-Strike and Valorant. When Valorant was released by Riot Games, it shook the world of tactical shooters and ended the dominance of Counter-Strike. While CSGO had been the king of the tactical shooter genre for over a decade, Valorant introduced several key elements that not only set it apart, but also made it the go-to choice for many players. One of the game's standout features is the combination of precise gunplay with unique agent abilities. CSGO focused heavily on pure shooting mechanics, so Valorant added an entirely new layer of strategic depth by allowing players to choose agents with individual powers that could influence the course of the match. The mix of tactical shooting and ability-based gameplay immediately attracted players looking for something fresh, and it made Valorant a more dynamic and versatile experience than CSGO had ever been. In addition, Valorant resolved a persistent issue that CSGO had for several years: cheating. Riot Games implemented its Vanguard anti-cheat system, which operates in your PC to effectively prevent cheating from ruining the experience for players. This was a huge selling point for many frustrated CSGO players, as the game built-in anti-cheat had become notoriously ineffective in handling sophisticated hacks. Valorant's commitment to a fair and secure environment, coupled with its innovative gameplay, quickly attracted a massive player base. The game's vibrant art style and dynamic gameplay were another key factor that drew in younger audiences, offering a fresh aesthetic that contrasted with CSGO's more old look. In terms of esports, Valorant has rapidly become a dominant force, with a well-organized competitive scene through events like the Valorant Champions Tour. Scandals like the iBuyPower match-fixing incident and the skin gambling controversies also damaged CSGO's reputation, driving players toward Valorant and other more modern shooters. As a result, Valorant quickly surpassed CSGO in both player count and esport viewership. While CSGO's mechanics remain iconic, Valorant captured the attention of a new generation of gamers and established itself as the new leader in tactical shooters, leaving CSGO to stay with its legacy while Valorant marches forward. The evolution of gaming is driven by change and innovation. Nostalgia and legacy are powerful forces, but they're not enough to carry a game through the long term. Innovation, new ideas and fresh gameplay are what keep players coming back for more. Whether it's Mortal Kombat's violent spectacles or Valorant's strategic blend of gunplay and abilities, both games found a way to stand out and capture the hearts of players, proving that in the world of gaming, the future belongs to those who push the boundaries and adapt to change. A quick shout out! We just hit 1000 subscribers. Thank you all for being part of this journey. The next goal, 2000 subs, so hit that button and join the channel.